Hello, it's Wednesday. We're back with another episode of Bothered. I will never pay full price for toilet paper. I was also wearing baggy barrel jeans, which I love. My husband hates them very much. So where the hell am I supposed to stash my clothes and cosmetics and things like that? Wanted to conduct a social experiment that I had thought about before. Maybe there's like a weight discount or surplus that could be allowed to somebody who's been doing a lot of Pilates lately.
Living like this, I might lose it.
I don't like to consider myself a cheap person, but in certain circumstances, I think I am cheap. I mean, I've spent a lot of money on things and like superfluous, stupid things in my life, but there are certain things that I take a stand for. Like I will never pay full price for toilet paper. And yes, I did mention that last week. It's just one of my personality traits. I also don't like paying for fees, especially fees where like I don't fucking agree with them. When I travel, and I travel a lot as a stand-up comic, sometimes I have to incur extra fees, like for baggage. Usually I don't have to for like big commercial flights because I have attained some sort of status, which I will fight to keep for the rest of my life because it's the same as like being royalty. And as a woman and person of color, sometimes you need those assurances that you're going to be treated properly. Okay. That's important to me, to be treated properly. Sometimes I fly with airlines that are not my home airline. And sometimes those methods of transportation don't allow for as much baggage. Recently, I hopped over from Vancouver to Vancouver Island, where we've got our province's capital city, which is Victoria, BC. I went to do actually a very lovely gig for the female students of the Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering. I loved it very much. But there was a very small budget and I didn't want to take the ferry over. If you live in British Columbia or if you've ever been here, you know that taking the ferry over to Victoria and coming back is like a 9-hour ordeal. And I just didn't want to do that. So I went on a seaplane. We've got a number of different carriers I will highlight so that I don't incriminate myself against just one of them. But I booked a flight to go over to Victoria and then come back the next day. And of course, I wanted to choose the more economical fare available to me. And the most economic fare available, the one that they advertised in the sales, of course, was the one that came with a baggage limit of, guess how much? You're never going to guess. 10 pounds. How the fuck is somebody, an entertainer no less, supposed to go overnight on a trip with 10 pounds? And like, I'll say like, I didn't even need a lot of outfits. I don't even think I brought an extra pair of shoes. Yes, I did bring an extra pair of shoes because I didn't know what I wanted to wear. And this is one fault, I guess, that I have. Like, I don't like to decide ahead of time what I'm going to wear, like completely. So yeah, sometimes I'll bring like a few options. But here's the thing. I have like a Tumi backpack and it is amazing. It is robust. Okay. This thing was like $700. It was an investment. I don't regret that, but I just remember that I started this whole thing off talking about the fact that sometimes I do pay for things, but like this thing is my life. Like I take it everywhere. I've got like, whatever, electrolytes, pills, extra makeup, everything in there. But that bag alone, I swear to God, I think is 5 pounds. And then you add my computer and my iPad, and I do like to have both for editing. That alone is 10 pounds. So where the hell am I supposed to stash my clothes and cosmetics and things like that? Well, I mean, having incurred like an $80 luggage fee the last time I flew with them, which was fine because somebody else paid for it, I just didn't want to do that again. And in a way, I thought, well, here's an opportunity. Like I knew when I booked that fare that I was going to have more than 10 pounds, but I also knew that I wanted to conduct a social experiment that I had thought about before. And I thought, you know what? Now is the time. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well document it and entertain somebody and get another follower or two, honestly. So what did I do? Well, first of all, I want to say that I do think it's unfair that somebody like me gets 10 pounds of luggage and then somebody else who might be like say a man who weighs twice as much as me gets the same luggage. This is not body shaming. This is not fat shaming or whatever. That 240-pound man could be very, very fit and a good match for one of my single girlfriends. So it's not at all discriminating against that kind of thing. But it has occurred to me in the past that it might be a little bit more fair if a person had a cumulative weight limit. And that sounds bad too. I don't really mean it like that, but I do feel like maybe there's a weight discount or surplus that could be allowed to somebody who's been doing a lot of Pilates lately and high intensity interval training. Sorry. Overall, I weigh less than I did, maybe 6 months ago. Should I then be able to compensate for that weight that I have no longer on my body and be allowed to bring some extra on the plane? They say no. But then it dawned on me that if weight on your body doesn't count as luggage, maybe I could put the weight on my body. So you know what I did? I went on Amazon, all right? And I did a search. I just put in words, and the words were something like vest, lots of pockets, tackle, like fisherman vest, cargo vest, because in my head, I visually saw those fisherman vests that they wear. They're not fashionable, but they are, they have a lot of utility to them. And I was looking for one with pockets that could fill my cosmetics and skincare and what's really heavy? Chargers, all the charging cables. And maybe I wanted to bring some fruit with me or, snacks or whatever. So I bought a vest. I bought a vest for I think only $35, and it came. I did take video of it, and I'll show you this. I packed everything in a bag that actually weighs a lot less than my Tumi backpack, and I just put everything in there. And then I had one other bag where I put my laptop and my iPad, and I wore it first, and then I put the vest with all my cosmetics and cords and snacks in it, and then I put this leather or animal-friendly leather coat over it. And I was also wearing baggy barrel jeans, which I love. My husband hates them very much. And then I stepped away and I took a photo. And I was like, who is that unhoused man looking back at me? And it was me. I will show you pictures. It didn't look amazing, but I did have some satisfaction that I was someone who was beating the system. And I don't give a shit about the male gaze. I don't care what I look like when I fly. I'm a married person with children. I'm too angry to be approached anyways. Nobody approaches me and just talks to me, okay? So anyways, I looked horrible. But guess what? I got there. I wasn't asked any questions, and I got on the plane. I was very uncomfortable, but I didn't pay any excess baggage fees. And then I went and I did my gig. The next morning, I had breakfast with a beautiful friend of mine in Victoria. I had such a lovely time. And then I did it all over again. I packed my vest and my devices on me. I actually came back with more stuff than I had left with because I took an extra piece of fruit from the lounge or whatever. And then I went back and again was not flagged. They were like, we will leave this very large man alone. And then I came home uncomfortable the second time again. And you know what? I beat the fucking system. Am I a little bit ashamed about this? It's would I rather have dignity and not look like an idiot? No, I don't think so. I don't really care what other people think. I mean, literally, this is something that my husband realized early on. In the beginning, I think he thought that I was just joking and I was just a big talker. Because everybody wants to say, I don't care what people think. I really don't give a shit. And I would rather do a social experiment for my own amusement and rather not pay excess baggage fees. So yeah, I saved probably $120 and there was no dignity lost because I didn't have any to begin with. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Bothered with me, Julie Kim. tickets are maybe sold out for my Vancouver live recording, but if they are, don't worry. We are going to do this over and over and go to different cities and be bothered with you. It's going to be a party. Anyways, I've got lots of dates coming up. JulieKimComedy.com/shows. Thanks for writing to me. Bothered@JulieKimComedy.com. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.
Living like this, I might lose it.